Most countries of Western Europe, but also the US and Japan, are highly indebted. The economic and financial crisis of the past years has aggravated their situation. Budget deficits deteriorate even more when tax receipts stagnate or decrease and government spending rises. The reasons for higher spending during recent times of economic stagnation or even recession were spending on higher unemployment benefits, diverse stimulus programs to keep the economy from collapsing, but also the bailout schemes to save banks and car manufacturers. Now, many countries are trying to lower their deficits. This is happening everywhere, not only in the crisis states of Europe that have received financial aid under the bailout programs of the European Financial Stability Facility, but even states that did not request any financial help, at least up to now, are working to consolidate their government budgets. One means to achieving this is the so-called savings or austerity programs. The concept of savings in this context, however, is a bit misleading because in fact nothing is saved here. Despite the measures taken to save money, states do not achieve budget surpluses, enabling them to put money aside. What occurs is that governments cut spending and at the same time rise taxes, duties and charges. Rising taxes and charges is politically easier to pass into law in most countries than reducing benefits. The US, with its Tea Party, which is a very strong anti-tax movement, is the main exception. Higher taxes, duties and charges usually mean more revenues for the state. But there's another side to the coin. Private households are left with less money for consumption and financial reserves, and companies have less money for investments and wage increases. On the spending side, when necessary, states can cut back on subsidies. There's also other ways to reduce spending. For example, not to adjust pension payments, allowances and salaries of public employees for inflation, or to raise the retirement age. Countries that have received aid from the International Monetary Fund or request help from the European bailout schemes usually have to take harsher measures, which may include lowering pensions, reducing staff at public bodies, or reducing salaries of public servants. These measures directly impact the disposable income of those affected and make them exercise more restraint in spending on consumption. For this reason, the question that arises in times of slow or no economic growth is the following. Do we really need to consolidate the budget right now, even if it has a negative effect on the economy? Politicians and experts in the US, Japan and Europe do not always agree on this matter. The one side says that higher levels of sovereign debt will significantly hinder economic growth over the medium term. Therefore, consolidation must have priority. Others view this as the wrong path to take. In their view, the austerity programs are pushing us straight into recession. Whichever opinion policymakers decide on, we must bear one thing in mind. Over the long term, higher taxes and less government spending are just as ineffective as short-term government stimulus programs. What is decisive is to improve competitiveness. Without this, there is no sustainable path back to economic growth.